Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Now let's talk about some other things that are going on. Something that's very near and dear to my heart. The subject of college and your education, because I guess I'm the youngest reporter here on the staff. I was the one who was in school the most recently. And I encounter a lot of people. We even had a guest here on the show at one point to talk about college. Now, to be very clear, I think higher education is good. I think your education or your growth shouldn't cease after high school. You should continue on in some way, whether that's trade school, or you get an internship, apprenticeship, whatever. I think you should continue to grow. But the academic system as it is in the United States of America, where it's overinflated with the cost, with the books, with all the BS courses that you shouldn't have to take. I don't think some doctor should have to take a course in art appreciation. Now, if you want to take art appreciation, that's fine, but I don't think you should have to take that to fulfill a requirement when it has nothing to do with your core interests. And that's the issue that I have with a lot of these colleges, or pretty much all colleges here in the United States of America. But now we have this article from CNN, just how much better off are college grads anyway? Because you always hear the numbers, they're going to make X number of dollars and all that. And I'm going to talk about their numbers and I'm going to give you my perspective. They start off here with the unemployment rate, which for college grads is 2.5%, and for high school grads is 5.6%. So obviously higher for the high school students. Also, the weekly wages. They say a college grad is going to make $1,227 as opposed to a high school grad that makes close to $700. And also the percent of population that's employed. They say 82% of college grads, whereas 67% of high school grads. Now, sounds good. It sounds all rosy and cheesy, and it makes you want to give a big hug to your high school guidance counselor. But the issue that they're leaving out of here, in my personal experience, is number one, how long did it take you to find a job after you got your degree? Because they always want to tell you the story. They gave me the same spiel back when I was in high school. They bring in some guy. Oh, look at, Billy over here. He's a model, and that's all he is. He is the model of a guy who went to school. He got a job before he even finished his degree. He got all the scholarships and all that stuff, and everything is great for him. That doesn't happen for most people. I'm trying to tell you right now, I went to college. I understand while Billy may be a success story, that doesn't happen for everybody. It's kind of like watching, a ESPN documentary about the guy who overcame all the odds. Kurt Warner. He went through all the stuff. He made it to the NFL. I believe won a Super Bowl. And that's kind of what they bring in when they bring in, Billy to your classroom. He is the model, not the norm. Also, the employment that you do get, is it a temporary job or is it some type of full-time job? Do you have a 9-to-5 or are you doing freelance work trying to make your ends meet? I think that's something very important. And also your student loan situation, because once again, they'll bring in Billy. Look at Billy, he has a great job. My question is, how much student loan debt does that guy have? Did he go to community college and save some money? Did he go to the big state school and is going to be paying back those student loans for the rest of his life? They don't ever want to talk about that. And I make a lot of, college waving people very uncomfortable when I talk about student loans, because that's kind of like the iffy thing you can't touch. And, I don't ask people how much money they have in the bank, but if you're trying to convince some young, impressionable student to go spend, $30,000 plus at a university, I think it is a relevant question to ask that person who's been out of school for 10, 20, 30 years, how much student loan debt they are still paying back and how much did they have when they started. And they go, you get in my business. Like, well, if I go to school and follow your plan, isn't it going to become my personal business how much student loan debt I have? So I think that is a relevant question. They don't ever want to talk about that. So for me to you, if you're young or even if you're an older person and you're thinking about going to school, I would just flat out ask them, how much student loan debt do you have? How long do you think it's going to take me to pay it back? At what rate am I going to be paying this back? Because they're going to tell you, okay, you're going to get out of school, you're going to make $80,000 a year. I'm just making up some number. You'll be able to pay it back in X number of years. And you have to sit back and wonder, okay, am I going to be able to get a job as soon as I walk out of the classroom? Even if I do get a job, is it going to be the job I want in my field? If it is the job in the field that I want, am I really going to make $80,000 a year? These are the things that you have to think of for yourself. They're not going to tell you this, because after you're done, it's going to be on to the next one. And they got the thousands, millions of them coming in to fill your spot. So you have to take this up for yourself.
Get BrainForce at 25% off for a limited time at InfoWarsLife.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been on this the last few months. You probably noticed I've been more crazed, more focused, less brain fog, more energy, more special reports, and it's because of BrainForce.
One of the worst things with most energy products is it's not sustainable, right? You're gonna crash afterwards. And the cool thing about this is it's not just a bunch of energy compounds that are gonna fire your brain up to a higher RPM or whatever, which it does do. This is sustainable. This isn't going to spike and you're gonna collapse and you're gonna feel really bad afterwards. This has a bunch of different antioxidants and compounds and polyphenols.
Everybody's on these drugs to knock their brain out because the brain's so fried.
We're looking at the television screen for research purposes or whatever we're even doing, trying to learn something, or staring at the computer all day, working, doing good. You're still damaging your brain.
You will find BrainForce and other game-changing products at InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.
Get BrainForce at 25% off for a limited time at InfoWarsLife.com. And we thank you for your support.